This next story is also written by Bragi the Skald, again around 850 AD. And it was a story that was well known. Again, I think Snorri Sturluson wrote it in Edda almost 400 years later. So it's a very well-known story called The Everlasting Battle. There was a king in the Northlands called King Hogni. And Hogni was the most powerful king in all the Northlands. And he had a daughter called Hild. And Hild was the most beautiful of women. And many men wanted Hild as their wife. But King Hogni was not going to marry off his daughter to just anyone. They had to be a powerful king as well. One young king who came looking to win her hand in marriage was a man called King Hedin. And it seems that Hedin and Hild had formed an attachment. They loved each other. And Hild would be very happy to marry him, but her father, King Hogni, said no. Absolutely no way was Hedin marrying his daughter. He only ruled a small kingdom. It was nothing compared to Hogni's realm. And he said that he would not sell his daughter so cheaply to this man. And so he refused. And Hedin was sent on his way. There was a meeting called of all the kings of the Northlands, and of course King Hogni sailed with his longship and went to attend the meeting. And while he was away, King Hedin returned back unexpectedly, and he carried away Hild. Now, when Hogni heard that his daughter had been abducted by this man that he had already refused as a potential son-in-law, he was furious. His rage knew no bounds. And he set sail north, back to his own kingdom. And when he arrived there, he was told that King Hedin had carried away Hild, and they had sailed west across the sea to Orkney. And so King Hogni turned the prows of his longships to the west and sailed across the sea to the Orkney Islands. And when they arrived here, they asked where King Hedin was. And they were told that he was on the island of Hoy, which is just to the south of here. It's a large island with large hills and lots of moorland as well. So he was told that King Hedin had sailed to Hoy, and so Hogni set off in pursuit. And sure enough, there on the shore was pooled up the longships of King Hedin. So Hogni went ashore, pitched his tents, and had his men prepare for battle. Now, that evening, Hild went to see her father. And she says, I've come bearing a message from King Hedin. He wants to be reconciled with you. He doesn't want to fight you. He doesn't want bloodshed. He has given you an offer of as much gold as you would like in return for my hand in marriage. Now, Hogni was furious when he heard that. He says, does he think that I need gold so much that I would sell my daughter to him, a man who sailed into my kingdom and carried her away against my will? No, battle will be joined in the morning at dawn, and we will fight till one of us is dead. So Hild went back to Hedin with this message, and the two armies prepared for battle. Now they gathered on a plain, flat area, probably of moorland, of heather, and the two sides were ready to fight. But once again, Hild went to her father and said, King Hogni still wishes to win your friendship rather than your animosity. He would rather be your friend than your enemy. And he has given me this finely wrought gold armoring to give to you as a gift, and hope that the two of you can be reconciled. Never, said Hogni, for I have drawn my sword Dennisleaf, and once Dennisleaf is pulled from its scabbard, a man must die before it can be returned. So I will fight. And so the two armies clashed, and it was a terrible and brutal and bloody affair, with many men killed on both sides. It became known as the strife of the Hednings, and they fought long and they fought hard until both sides were exhausted. And as the day was wearing on, they decided to break off battle and return to their camps, where the injured could bind up their wounds, and where they could eat and drink and take some rest before the next day when they would join in battle again once more. But that night, as the men slept, Hild went down to the battlefield, and she sang a song. But it was no ordinary song. It was a song of enchantment, because Hild was a Valkyrie, one of the choosers of the slain in battle. In fact, her name, Hild, meant battle in the Old Norse tongue. And she sang a song of enchantment over all the dead bodies and all the broken swords and axes and spears and the splintered shields. And as she sang, all the bodies turned to stone, and all the weapons and shields turned to stone as well. And after she had sung her song, and everyone, all the corpses on the field had turned to stone, she went back to her camp. And the next morning, as soon as the sun rose above the horizon, all the warriors who had been turned to stone and who had been dead the night before sprang up alive again. All the broken swords and axes and spears and the splintered shields were all whole again, as were the men. No matter how badly decapitated they'd been, they were now whole and holding their weapons and ready for battle, so that when Hogni and Hedin arrived on the battlefield, they were amazed to see their fallen comrades standing waiting for them. And the two sides clashed, and they fought long and they fought hard again, but no side got the upper hand. And when they broke off for the night and went back to their camps, Hild once more returned to the battlefield and sang her song of enchantment. And all the corpses again were turned to stone. And in the first light of the dawn, they all rose up alive again and fought once more. And they said that they are still fighting to this day. We can't see them anymore. They're not visible to mortal eyes, but they're still there and they're still fighting. And they will continue to fight until Ragnarok, the battle at the end of all things.
Oh, that's so fantastic.
Yeah, it's not a bad story, I have to say. I can take no credit. I mean, it's a very ancient Viking story, but yeah, It's a good one. It kind of sends a shiver up the spine a bit.
It's a cycle. She sing and they return, return.
And they're doomed to do that. There was a reference to this kind of thing with the goddess Freya, who had sold herself to 4 dwarfs who were smiths, who had made this beautiful necklace that she wanted. And so she had to lie with them in order to get it. And when Odin heard, he was furious and had Loki steal it from her. And he refused to return it until Frey stirred up war between rival kings. And this is something which she agreed to do in return for her necklace. But it is a theme that appears of them, of Odin having war perpetuated, and causing strife and reveling in warfare. So it's a very Viking thing.
Oh, I think we can say that she was, I think that her tried that the warriors didn't battle, but the song made the opposite. They returned to the battle. Seems she wasn't want that, but this is a thing that she can stop it because they want to battle and return again.
Mm-hmm. Well, she can make it possible because, of course, she can turn them to stone, and then they are brought back to life for the rays of the sun. So it's a bit like a troll in reverse, where trolls get caught in the sunlight and they turn to stone. This is the opposite. The stone turns back to life because of the sun. And then they are doomed to carry on fighting. So, yeah, it's a good story.
Mm-hmm.